The main goal of the Passages Canada program is really, in essence, to create dialogue about shared history, to create a space for cultural understanding and respect of differences. But beyond just that is giving newcomers a platform to be heard and to find a space or build a sense of community. It's important for new immigrants to have their stories heard and to share it because a lot of them have left stories behind. Stories that oftentimes most Canadians don't think is important to hear. But if we're looking at Canada as a whole, as a diverse fabric, we need to include their stories as part of our history.
I speak to different groups, like I can be talking through Skype to kids in Nunavut that they want to know about the immigration experience, or to U of T to continuous studies, ESL, schools, or schools that, of Canadians that just want to learn our experience as refugees, as immigrants. But I'm always surprised at the end when I finish and they are so happy to hear about it, because I think they may not have put a face to the people that come. When we hear about refugees, we hear, like, how do they look like? We see them in newspapers, but once they meet them, I think it makes a big difference. There are professionals out there, entrepreneurs, or people that are living the Canadian life now, like a Canadian that is just walking through the streets, that can be a refugee, and being able to meet them and seeing what they went through, but also seeing how thankful they are is something that they are surprised about and grateful that I was able to share my experience.
You love the prairies, far as the eye can see. Rugged Rockies, Maritimes, I am now with me.
Newcomers should share the stories with other Canadians because the more we educate and spread awareness about our culture, the less stereotyping we will have, the less racial comments we will have, the more acceptance we will have across Canada. So I think it's extremely important. There's also a lot of struggles that immigrants have been through that Canadians should become aware of, because I think sometimes Canadians have this idea that we got to come in as refugees or we got to come in as entrepreneurs and maybe didn't have to struggle for that or came in easily through the immigration system. However, it's always a struggle, whether you come in as an entrepreneur, a refugee claimant, whatever status you might be. And I think those are very important things to have Canadians recognize. There's also this idea that, are the immigrants coming and taking our jobs? Are they a threat to our country? And why is Canada accepting so many immigrants? And I think those are very sensitive, negative comments that can really destroy the immigration culture. And it's important to help them recognize that Canada is a country of immigrants. We are all immigrants in this country. And although you may have lived here or you were born here, your forefathers could have been an immigrant. And if it's the one place in the world where you find stability, so be it. The more we share stories, the more we can connect.
Being able to teach that or talk about that, I went through so many things with the stress, the problems, the hardship that you go through, because you do. Like the first 3 years is probably one of the hardest years. A stressful experience coming to a place that is not your culture, it's not your language, and you don't have anybody to ask for a job. And if somebody identifies with it, I think I did my job by saying, yeah, we all go through the same, but there is hope. So I think at the end it's just providing that there is a hope and that there is an opportunity out there, and it just takes time.
So the speaking engagements have really shown me that there is still a lot of work to be done. And although we live in a multicultural city, such as something like Toronto or GTA, there are parts of Canada that still need awareness, education around the topic of diversity, multiculturalism, and heritage. So I think it's excellent, and it's something that we need to keep doing. And it's changed me in the sense that, like, I want to be a part of this and I want to keep giving back, because the more kids and the more people that I can connect with and tell them the story, the less they have to go through it. If someone had shown me, respond, don't react back in the day, I wouldn't have maybe suffered through self-esteem or isolation and all of that. I would have had a different angle to handle it. So just providing the techniques on how to handle it, because it's going to exist. It seems to be existing and not going away. So just how to navigate that in the world.